Well, not a DVD or a Blu-ray this time, or a CD, etc., or a cassette even, or maybe even an LP. And I don't call them vinyls because I can't stand that. It drives me nuts. This time it's a book. Now, do you remember when you were a kid? Maybe you did this, maybe you didn't. Tea cards with PG tips and things like that. You got a little picture of an animal, and then on the back told you all about it, or it might be a vehicle, or all sorts of things, space. And then what you did, you collected so many, you got an album. I don't know how that worked. I don't know if you had to collect so many before you could apply for the album, whichever. Anyway, a lot of people didn't complete them all anyway. I had a couple, but of course, like everything else from your childhood, these things disappear, or well-intentioned mothers give them away or chuck them in the bin. This book came out a few years ago. Brooke Bond, classic Brooke Bond picture card collections, and it says 12 complete Brooke Bond albums with every card in place, and it's by Mark Knowler. It's an unofficial one, so it's not sort of endorsed by Brooke Bond, and I always think of, James Bond with that. It makes me laugh. It's a hardback. It wasn't cheap when I bought it. The full price is £20. It'd cost you more than that to get the card if you could get anywhere near these cards on eBay. But £20, I think I paid something like about £12 for it. It's a lovely sized book. Lovely sized book. There we go. It says every child growing up in the 50s and 60s remembers the strikingly illustrated Brooke Bond collecting cards that came with every packet of tea, swapped with friends, traded in school playgrounds and pored over for hours. The cards were not only highly prized by children but collected by adults too. Some were even lucky enough to have the specially produced albums in which they pasted their cards. This beautifully produced nostalgic book comprises of the best 12 original albums presented slightly larger than they were 50 years ago to bring out the best in the wonderfully detailed illustrations. Every card is printed in its correct position, making every page an enormously colourful feast for the eyes. The albums that have been included are Out into Space, British Wildlife, Wildflowers Series 2, Freshwater Fish, African Wildlife, Asian Wildlife, British Butterflies, Wild Birds in Britain, poor whistling, isn't it? Transport Throughout the Ages, Trees in Britain, Flags and Emblems of the World, and History of the Motor Car. And if I can show you some, these are some of the flags of the world. You may remember there used to be a chewing gum set in the 60s that you could nobody chewed the gum because it's awful stuff, just had it to collect the cards, and they did flags of the world. I always fancied a set of those, but I never got them. Trees. Let's see if I can find you. The ships, birds, really is amazing. I can remember spending about oh look, there's one of the album covers. I spent about 2 hours one night poring over this, and let's see if I can find the modes. There's the ones for space: Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, Neptune, Saturn. It's so much interesting information as well inside. Here we are. Now I'll just show you this. There's a Jensen Interceptor, Ford GT40, hugely collectible cars. Now Mini sports cars, racing cars. It's not very easy to sort of hold up. Maybe at some time or other I'll do an overhead video of this, and it would be easier to lay out flat. But there you go, classic Brooke Bond picture card collections. Have a look on some of the books, second-hand book sites. You might pick one up, you know, quite reasonably cheap. It is quite thick, as you can see, but £20. I'd be a little bit reluctant to have paid 20 quid, but I think I paid about £12, something like that. But still, it's still, you know, a treat to look through, and it'll bring back lots of memories to a lot of people anyway. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, leave a tick or whatever you do, and if you've got any comments, good, bad or indifferent, I always read them and I always try and reply to your comments. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Have a great day.